And welcome to an all-new Marvel Cast, Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Thunderstrike and Iron Hammer. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley, the Explosion Network's resident watcher. Joining me today, Ultimate Kira Marchant.
We should rename the show when we do like the next Guardians of the Galaxy / Thor movie to Mid Guardians of the Galaxy. That'd be a pretty cool name.
Also joining us is Dylan Blight.
Fucking hell.
Hello.
Just no sell.
Wow, that's fucked. Okay. Jesus Christ.
I mean, now we have to go the effort of like taking that name. In case unless somebody else has already got it.
Probably.
Today we're talking about the latest episode of What If? What If Thor Were an Only Child? Directed by Bryan Andrews, written by A.C. Bradley. Thor, who never learned to be a good hero, throws an out-of-control intergalactic party on Earth. Dylan, we've had a bunch of like really dark and depressing episodes recently. How do you feel about this more lighthearted one?
It was like sort of fun, but it was just so empty of anything of some substance that I kind of wish the series had just stuck to just being dark and depressing. Like we had like a slow introduction to get us into the series, and then they're like, nah, we got some like hard hitting shit. And now it feels like they were like, okay, around this time of the season, people may be getting sick of that stuff. So let's have like one that's just Thor having a big old party and it's a good time. I feel like this is a really good concept for like 5 minutes, a 5-minute short potentially or something like that. But as a full episode, I kind of grew pretty tired to this one quickly. So it's probably my least favorite episode of the show, to be honest.
Okay. Kieran, how do you feel about it?
Honestly, I really want to like this episode. Like, I feel like as a basis, this episode is what I thought What If was going to be a lot more of, in terms of kind of a little bit off the wall setups to get more characters involved and have characters interacting in different ways. But I think there's a lot of problems, I think, with this. I actually think all of the female characters as a whole are actually really poorly written in this episode, just as a whole. Just from, like, especially Jane. I think Jane's really just was disappointing because I guess Jane Foster that we knew from Thor didn't lighten up to Thor until he kind of lost his egotism and kind of came down to earth, so to speak, and was humbled a bit. But in this, she's very much kind of all into this kind of douchebaggy jock Thor that is a bit of a dick and that just is, egotistical and arrogant. And it's just very weird that she's written like that. I think Maria Hill's kind of the same. Why the hell is Maria Hill trying to nuke nuke a part of the world? I'm very much on Dylan. Towards the end of this episode, it was just getting to the point that was like, from Jane being transported to speak to Frigga onwards, it was like, oh fuck, we only have this much runtime left on this episode we need to fill. Let's quickly jam in Thor fixing all of his problems and we're good. It's just, I don't know. It was disappointing. And then also, I feel like they were just trying to cram as many of the extraterrestrial characters into this episode with very little kind of reason for why Grax is there, why is Korg there, like, just, I don't know. And I guess it's trying to overlook a lot of the trying to be like, yeah, fuck it, just delay your belief and just have fun with it, which I was trying really hard to do. I just think there was just too many issues I felt with this episode.
Clearly I liked it a bit more than you guys. I thought it was a really fun time. I think tonally it's completely different to any other episode so far, and story, like, plot, like, I think it's going for something completely different to what all the other episodes are going for. They're like going for like proper stories, tales and mysteries. This definitely felt like a cartoon episode. I think that's what they were going for. Like you said, like the last 10 minutes, the last few minutes, like they're just trying to cram in all the Thor fixing all his mistakes. That's totally the joke. It's like, it definitely feels like, oh, it's the kid has a house party and then his parents are coming home moment, and he's freaking out. Except it's Thor, superhero on planet Earth, and he's got to fix the entire planet. I mean, how can you not find that at least mildly amusing? Especially knowing the fact that the Bifrost is almost instantaneous. And they're just playing it out for...
Not in this universe.
Well, that's the thing. That was almost the reason that it took me out of the joke, was like because we've established how quick Bifrost travel is throughout the MCU. I don't know.
We have not seen Thor punch people to another country before, but that seemed believable. And apparently in this universe, all countries are named.
Their names.
Yeah,
I didn't know the countries had their names.
I really liked that design choice.
Yeah,
I thought that was a
good
really
pick.
cool design choice.
But yeah, Jane was very poorly written. Like, even more poorly written than she was in the original films. But maybe she just likes Thor not shaven. And, like, shaven.
They were like, hey,
like
Natalie
babyface
Portman,
Thor.
we'll make you Thor in Thor 3.
Can you just do
have
this?
to do this as well. She's like,
I
guess.
In this universe, you're very smitten, so... I know.
There's smitten, and then there's the point where you're completely blinded to the dire needs of what this person could possibly do to the rest of the planet.
What did Thor do that was so wrong? He was just having a good time. If Captain Marvel hadn't come along, and it wasn't even his fault that Nick Fury got hurt.
No, but it's because of the party that he's created creates the occasion for things like Nick Fury to get hurt and for people to get hurt, because
I think it's a complete overreaction. It was a complete overreaction by S.H.I.E.L.D., I think.
Oh. I feel like Maria Hill wanting to use nukes was a bit of I was like, what the fuck? What is this bullshit?
It was the middle of Siberia, It wouldn't have mattered.
What? Are you freaking... You're telling me in a world where America or an American-seeming organization drops a nuke on Russia, that is a smart thing to do? Like...
Yeah, they just say we had an extraterrestrial threat that we need to get rid of.
That just starts a war. That just starts a new war. But
yeah, I had a good time. There were really good bits. I did enjoy getting all the people showing up. I know it's silly and they're only there for the gags, but it's fun having all those dumb, stupid cameos. Having the Collector show up with Rachel House and Howard the Duck apparently getting married to Darcy.
Actually, I will say Kat Dennings, as always, fucking smashed it. Her
smashed it out of the park.
actually
Yeah,
laugh out loud.
She was the best part of the episode.
easily.
And Howard the Duck, to be honest, but.
I was like, as soon as I saw Howard the Duck, I'm like, oh fuck, here comes Dylan. Fucking more Howard the Duck, let's go.
Best part of this show so far is all the Howard the Duck. Favorite part.
No, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I even just at the start, Frigga poking Odin in the face to make sure he's asleep. That's the only way to test if he's asleep or not.
Can I?
No scientific information, no magical way to tell if he's asleep or not.
Even though he glows in the when we've seen it in the
Odin sleep,
movie, and when he's in the Odin sleep, he glows. So it's like, well, isn't that why didn't they just use that? But also, it was a weird decision, right? Considering all the way through this show, they have made the decision to just recast voice actors and just recast people. It felt very weird that Heimdall was quiet the entire time, except for the odd sigh or noise. There was just...
yeah, it was quite odd considering that all the other characters who had one or two lines were credited.
Yeah,
Taika, one line when he's running over Nick Fury? That's it.
Yes. Yep. Taika. It's just very...
Hold on. Where's my update segment every week? The cast was, for people playing at home who missed out, Thor was Chris Hemsworth, Jane was Natalie Portman, Loki was Tom Hiddleston, Darcy was Kat Dennings, Nick Fury was Samuel L. Jackson, Grandmaster was Jeff Goldblum, Maria Hill was Cobie Smulders, Agent Coulson was Clark Gregg, Brock Rumlow was Frank Grillo, Korg was Taika Waititi, Nebula was Karen Gillan. Lady Sif was Jamie Alexandra. How the Duck was, of course, Seth Green. Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel was not.
Brie Larson.
And instead, was not Brie Larson. Instead was Alexandra Daniels.
Yep.
So
it just felt very
Topaz
odd
was played
that
by
there was
Rachel House,
just-
though. Yeah, that's true.
Like it was very odd that there was just no voice actor for Heimdall, and then just Heimdall in general actually slightly annoyed me when it got back to him, because I was like, shouldn't he have been just watching this and be like, what the fuck are you doing, Thor? Like,
in this version of the MCU, Heimdall doesn't get his big breakout moment where he becomes a star of the Thor franchise, and instead just stays as the stoic.
Watcher.
even
that he was.
Heimdall was like talking during the original Thor.
Barely.
No, but
He's still
in that universe, you know, Thor's a warrior and like a good like person, kind
so
of.
you would think that Heimdall would even more be like, oi, fucking pull your head in, dickhead. Like, I don't know. It's just very strange that he was just like,
you know,
not look. Like, does the shot where it cut to him opening his eyes when Jane called him? I was like, what the fuck?
he had an
Like-
odor nap. That's what happened.
It's just all of it was just, I don't know. I feel like it was just poorly written it was poorly written for the purpose of making things work for the gags and for the funniness of it. And
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah,
There were
the gags and
gags that
jokes
made
were the
me laugh.
priority, and it was
Yes.
just trying to fit story around it. Okay.
Which I guess makes this the odd one out when it comes to the What If series, because I think, you know, we've definitely said that gags have not always hit so far in this run, but interesting stories and well-developed stories as a whole has been kind of a hallmark of at least the last couple of episodes. Maybe not the first episode with Captain
Carter.
Captain Carter. I don't know why I went to call it Captain Britain or England or whatever, but it's Captain Carter.
She's British.
Where that was just a tweaked retelling of the first Avenger. But yeah, I think it's a strange one overall.
How do we feel about Thor vs. Captain Marvel? Did they book it right?
Meh. Carol Danvers should have kicked his ass, in my opinion. Got over.
She was holding back, apparently. So
Yeah, apparently. Nah, fuck that.
you know, trying to keep it strong. That's what they're doing.
I guess.
Classic.
Not everything's wrestling.
I mean-
I mean, fucking Mark. You fucking Mark.
I mean, it's true in this case. You know, she was. They gave her a reason she lost. You know.
Haven't we? This is another question. Maybe we never saw her do it. I thought at some point that Captain Marvel was either strong enough to lift Mjolnir or could at least move it, and that was a proof of power.
No.
So I can't remember, but
No, she just.
Um,
you know, she didn't flinch when it went flying past her head.
okay,
That's the thing that Thor was impressed by.
right, okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed that.
It was.
I don't know. I found the gag of him like pushing Stonehenge over very amusing.
Oh, I laughed. I laughed during that as an English person. I was like, "Oh no, you didn't."
Don't touch these stones. They're for here for some reason.
I don't know.
Yeah, and you know the climax of the episode is like it's set in Sydney. It's like crazy.
You're like, plus two points. It was set in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Aussie.
You know,
Chris
what was
Hemsworth has
Thor going to do to the opera house? It
was
wasn't
gonna
quite
He was
clear.
going to slide down it, he
was
said. He
gonna
was going to
slide
come
down
down.
it.
He was going to slide down the side of the slidey thing, he said.
Oh.
So this is, I think, a down point in storytelling. How does everybody feel about the Ultron reveal at the end with
Such a tease.
Vision
Meh.
Ultron?
Like a
I don't care.
Do you think it would have been better if they'd been teasing it throughout the entire?
no, it's
No,
like
I
it's
just
just
don't-
it's just like one of those things where it's like let's have some random really cool ending bit so we can use it for promotional art.
Well,
I
obviously-
just I don't care to watch that version Ultron in this with this version of Thor is my problem.
I mean,
I'm just
that
like,
could
Well,
be interesting.
I think.
like
Well, I got the feeling this leads into next week's episode.
it could be maybe.
we've
like
been
that'll-
across this before, and it,
We've,
it hasn't
we've
happened.
predicted like a massive team up And I've seen rumors that Party Thor is meant to be amongst that. Like, it could potentially be, this Ultron vision.
That's what. That's
Infinity
just the
dude.
feeling I got from the end of this episode was just, the Watcher teasing
The
about
Watcher was
Happily Ever
surprised.
After, and then
Very surprised.
and then be record scratch. What the fuck? And I feel like that's going to lead into next week's episode, where all of the episodes we've seen so far are going to be.
I think there's one
working
more
together
episode before the finale, so.
Is this 7? I thought there was.
think
I
there's
thought this was 8
9.
for some reason. There's
It's
9,
9.
but I thought this was episode 8 for whatever reason.
7.
I think this is 7.
There's 2 left.
Yeah,
Unless we get a 2-parter.
potentially.
Maybe.
Be kind of odd, but yeah. Other thing, how do we feel about Loki in this episode? Going full ice giant.
Brother from another mother.
Another mother.
I like that. You know what?
You know why I don't care? Because I'm your brother from another mother.
Loki isn't that. You know what? Loki ain't a bad guy, and he ain't a bad guy. And the only difference was the fact that Odin just fucking left him there, just gave him back to his dad. So, really, all the problems in the MCU up to this point, it's fucking Odin's fault for just taking that kid. Just don't take the kid.
Maybe not all the problems in the
don't
galaxy,
know,
but at
dude.
least one's related to him, yeah.
Yeah.
Loki gets a lot of related problems. Like, I was even thinking, since watching the Loki show, we know that Loki is featured in a number of events in American history or in the Earth's history by fucking around as a joke between him and Thor. So it's kind of like, so if he didn't do those, did those things happen? Does this mean
Does
like
DB
a whole bunch
Cooper
of
a thing?
Yeah, exactly. Did that thing happen ever? Like, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting thought of, wow, Loki just growing up with the Ice Giants just seems to have like mellowed him out a lot more and
Just a
just
bro.
not caused a whole bunch of problems. He's just a bro. Even when he was talking to Jane, he wasn't trying to be malicious or anything. He was just fucking around and then accidentally dropped the phone.
And it fell.
And because he's really tall and a giant, it was a really
It was
long way
20
down.
seconds of falling to the ground. Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Also, like the sight gag and running theme of Vandrel, like sleeping with goats all the time. And then when he's in the hotel room, there's a bunch of tiny goat babies all over him.
Just a interesting one is that Fandral is back to a character design that's much more like his original
I feel
Thor
like
character
it's.
than
I thought they
Zachary
were going
Levi.
for a mix between the two.
I thought he leaned more towards the original actor.
Okay.
I was like, maybe it just wasn't Zachary Levi because, Zachary Levi went over to the dark side of DC and they're like...
Shoot him.
And they're just like, let's just put it back. Which is, funny considering...
No, that can't be true because Jeffrey Wright is currently doing the Batman, so
That's true.
I'm sure it's all good and well.
Yeah, but that was already... Didn't Jeffrey Wright already have that before he booked anything to do with Marvel?
Probably.
Marvel it's probably both ways, Marvel's like, you can get into bed with us after getting to bed with DC, but if you cheat on us with DC after we're a couple, nuh-uh, none of this, not coming here today. Yeah, it's just interesting. When you also compare it to the fact that we had Rhodey as Don Cheadle, is just, it's amusing.
Rhodey as Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle as Rhodey. Well, it's no. Rhodey was wearing Don Cheadle's face.
Don Cheadle
Face
is Terrence
design.
Howard.
Wait, can we have a face-off movie with Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's the face-off version I want. I know they're remaking it. Let's make it Don Cheadle and Terrence Howard.
Did they cast that movie yet?
I don't think so.
There you go.
Let's fucking go.
All right, let us know what you thought Let us know what you thought of this week's episode
Face
of
Off.
What If, or what you thought of our pitch for Face Off by going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter and letting us know on Twitter, or jump to Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord if you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support and buy us a coffee. Alright, so make sure you watch the next episode of What If, and join us next time for another all-new Marvel cast.